Welcome to DCPC Live Presents Scene Support, the podcast that spotlights the people behind the scene who keep DIY and underground music alive. From the bookers and the sound techs to the zine writers and venue operators, we're here to give credit where it's long overdue. I'm your host, Scott Pash, founder of DCPC Live, a DIY label putting out short-run vinyl of live punk, hardcore, ska, and metal. After decades in bands and behind the scenes, I know what it takes to keep a scene going, and today's guest is one of those people doing that work week in and week out. This week on Scene Support, I am sitting down with Dave the Face Boccio, the eye behind face photo, based in Hudson Valley. Dave has spent the last 12 years capturing everything from bands and graffiti artists to festivals and street culture, building a reputation for his raw, energetic style. What started as photographing alligators in Florida has grown into a career documenting music, art, in the community across New York and beyond. I first met Dave at one of the Last Chance shows in July of 2023. I had just moved to the Hudson Valley and lucked into a gig drumming for a local punk band named Leave It Behind. From the moment I met him, I was struck by his sense of humor, his urgency behind the camera, and his overall kindness. Since then, the only thing better than seeing Dave's smiling face is seeing the dope photos he takes of hardcore, punk, ska, and metal shows in the Hudson Valley and beyond. I said beyond twice now, maybe 3 times. While the scene is obviously about music, it's impossible not to acknowledge the importance for photographing and capturing everything exciting about punk, hardcore, ska, and metal. I said that 3 times. Growing up between DC and New York, I was always inspired by the DIY photographers who gave the scene its visual memory. People like Glenn E. Friedman, who caught the Fugazi hanging upside down from a basketball hoop. Cynthia Connolly, whose band in DC became a visual history of an entire community. And BJ Pappas, who shots at Bad Brains, Agnostic Front, and Sick of It All, defined New York City for a generation. Those photos weren't just documentation, they became part of the culture itself. And in all my 30 years, I've rarely encountered a talent whose work I admire as much as Dave's.
Oh, thank you.
That's like 2 minutes in that. That was a long introduction.
Yeah, that was very good, though.
That was exceptionally long. I apologize for that, everybody out there that listened. And I think I said hardcore, punk, ska, and metal at least 3 times.
Now Candyman's going to come out.
I didn't say indie rock. I didn't say math rock.
There we go.
All right. So I don't ever prepare any questions for this sort of thing. This is just me sitting down, having a cup of coffee, even though I think you gave up coffee, which is crazy to me.
I cheated, though.
Yeah.
I had a cup yesterday and I had a cup today. Not going to lie. And it was delicious.
Wasn't it freaking delicious?
Oh, I'm back. Yeah. I'm probably not going to do like 200 ounces in a day, but I'm gonna moderation. I heard that's kind of good.
I heard that's the thing, but I'm not really sure.
I heard that. I don't know.
I'm not very good at it myself.
I got to Google it.
All right. So like, you can start however you want. You can tell me how you got into hardcore and punk itself, or you want to start how you got into photography, mix and mash it to weave it together. Tell the story for people out there that don't know you and love you like I do.
Word. Okay. So back in I think it was like 94, 95, I was introduced to this band called Dissolve. They were out of the Hudson Valley. They just had their last show a few months ago, close to New Haven at I forget the venue, is like Space Ballroom or something like that.
Okay.
And it was their last show ever. I've known those guys close to 30 years. They introduced me to everybody, but they welcomed me in. And when I first saw them, it was kind of interesting because I loved the band right away. But then I saw the singer in the mall the next day, and he approached me and was just like, "Hey, how you doing? You're the guy at the show," kind of thing, And I was like, "Whoa." He's friendly, it's just one of those. I'm like this little grom, with a skateboard kind of thing, and I'm like, why is he talking to me? Kind of, it's just, it didn't make sense, because I was listening to Slayer at the time, a lot of heavier bands, and I was very into Minor Threat, Dead Kennedys, Black Flag, but a lot of metal as well, just mixed together. And I saw this band, they were kind of experimental, and I just kind of stuck with them.
Yeah.
That was my intro into Hudson Valley hardcore. And Dissolve was they were heavy, but they were very experimental. And I always latched on to more experimental music. And I'm still friends with those guys today. They hit me up. They were just we're doing our last show. We want you to photograph it. It's only right.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And I was just like, dude, I'm honored. I will be there. It was a Sunday night, 2 songs in, I get clocked in the pit. Next day I had a boardroom meeting because I work a very corporate job as well. And I show up with a black eye, it was a great night. I loved it. And it just stemmed from there. And I was just a fan, because it was just wow, all these misfit people, because I come from a conservative family. So I was I'm an experimental person. They say no, I'm not, why? I want to check it out, And between like just that mental that I have, that and skateboarding, because that was my ticket to freedom, because
Sure.
now I'm out in the world and I'm seeing things, whether it's on the street, in a park, or whatever, you see things differently, so that separated me more from my family. But then I found like hardcore and punk rock, and I was like, wow, these are like my people. And then
Yeah.
you build the tribe from there, you know? And I kind of never turned back. Like I straightened up a little bit because I had some problems back in the day, like, everybody else. Um, so I straightened my act up, went to school. I went to school for production, like music
Yeah.
production, recorded bands, produced a few bands, all that stuff. And I was straightening out my life even more. And the lady I was going to marry was like, you need to get a real job kind of thing, stop
Mhm.
chasing musicians. So I got into IT and went up the corporate route, and but still would dabble into the shows and still skating and all
Yeah.
that. Like I never fully left it, because it was like in my heart, because it was like that was my first acceptance, it
Yeah.
was
No,
a
that
kind of
entirely is.
beautiful thing. And I just really never turned back. Like I might have not gone to a show for like a year,
Yep.
you know? And it was just like, but if like Dissolve was playing or like a friend's band, I would always make it a point to go check them out. And then it was like 2004, I moved to Florida, and my
Sorry.
homie, yeah, I know. That's when I was in the St. Pete area,
Yep.
which was, it was good because like I was going to move to Indiana because I was going strictly for school.
Yep.
And in Fort Wayne, Indiana, they had the program that I wanted. And the girl I was with was just like, I'm not moving to Indiana. So like I dodged a bullet on that one,
Yeah. Yeah.
like we got to go to Florida. They have that thing too. And I was like, that's heaven's waiting room, like all that stuff, what am I gonna do there? She's like, what are you gonna do in Indiana? One of those things, I was like, touche.
Yep.
So we went to Florida. It was great. It did really well for me, but like I'm a New Yorker,
Yep.
you know. But while I was down there, my homies in Brooklyn, well, they were like, no, you live too far north, no alligators, nothing like that. So I bought a camera and just started chasing alligators
Okay.
just to show them, and that was like my intro to photography.
Like a throwaway camera, or like a real camera. Because I see the
Oh, it
camera
was
you
like
have
a
now. It's fancy.
professional point and shoot. I have friends that were photographers already. So I was like, you have any old cameras? Like one of those things. So I just bought like it was like a Canon Power Shot Pro, blah, 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 you know.
Was it
But
still actual film, or was it digital even
no,
then?
it was digital. It was
Okay.
digital. Yeah. Prior to that, I was shooting film through like high school, and every once in a
Okay.
while I would like shoot a roll or whatever, but nothing
Okay.
like really stuck.
So you did some photography in high school too. So you were not just totally like
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
Right,
So
right. Exactly. I wasn't serious about it though.
yeah,
Like I was pretty much there to hide out in the dark room and do stupid things,
I
you
get it.
know. Yeah, dumb adolescent kid. But everything that I did in high school made a show, or like the school magazine kind of thing, you
Yeah.
know? So there was a couple people that like saw that, like one in particular, this girl, Jessica McEwen. She was always like, you need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do this. And then after Florida, I moved back to New York, and I was like, hey, I think I'm going to like look into this. So she helped me quite a bit, like giving me
Okay.
direction. But she was like professional photographer herself, as doing like weddings. And like right off the bat, I was like, I know I don't want to do that,
Yeah.
you know, but I brought my camera to the city, and that was it. I was just like, yo, this is where it's at. So I just started building as a street photographer. I got millions of photos. Like I have one computer in my storage unit that has like 1.7 million photos on it
Holy
that I
shit.
haven't, yeah. And I haven't touched that thing in maybe
And
10
like,
years.
are they uploaded to a cloud, or are they just on that thing
Not
waiting?
those, no, because those were like my early day stuff. So I was just like, some of that stuff doesn't even see the light of
You're like,
day.
it doesn't need to be there. No posterity, no nothing. I don't want
Yeah.
people bringing those out of my funeral, like, plastering them everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and then, yeah, the street was it for me. And I just kept doing it, just like I never stopped. The camera was like always there for me. And then this guy, JB, who worked at Dark Side Records,
Yeah.
I'm a record collector, so I was always in Dark Side, and I became friends with this guy too, because I bought an amp head from him off of Craigslist. He calls me up. He's like, "Yeah, I got it." I was like, "Well, you don't sound like a psycho. Come on over." So I invite some random dude from Craigslist to my place, and we just like really hit it off. And everywhere I went, he would like pop out. So one day I go to Dark Side when it was on Main Street in Poughkeepsie, and I'm going through the crates and I just hear, "Dude." When I look up, it's him. I'm like, "Yo, I didn't know you work here." We just like became friends and all
Yeah.
that. I lived in Beacon at the time and I would shop at his wife's store, you know? And then like one day he's like, "I'm in this band, Dead Empires. You want to shoot us at House of Yes in Brooklyn?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take a stab at that." He
Okay.
was under the impression because I'd been in the hardcore scene so long and we knew all the same people. He thought I was already like a band photographer.
Ah,
That was my first shoot.
okay.
Yeah, that memory actually just came up on Facebook and I was just like, whoa, that's pretty crazy.
And how long ago was that?
2018.
Okay.
So what's that,
So
like 6, 7 years? 7 years?
what would you say was the biggest difference, going from the street, which the street has some action if you're getting like,
Mhm.
vehicles and people and skateboarders walking by, animals, etc. But it's still a little bit more slow paced, I would imagine, versus
In
doing the show.
ways.
Like how did it change? What did you have to do differently? Or what did you notice differently?
Everything. The only
Everything.
thing from street photography that I was able to bring was that, like, that candid feel, like, finding that, like, specific moment, like, knowing, like, say when RBNX, like, they play, like, Blue Lies. Once I hear, "Dan-dan-dan-dan," I know my spot, boom, got it,
Yeah.
That helped me street photography helped me a lot in that. So I was very grateful for street photography and just like being fast with the shots and seeing things before they happen because there's a lot of intuition and you kind of have to manifest in a way. Like if you ever watch me shoot at shows, I'm talking to myself, like I got picked on a few times from people like, "Who are you talking to? You in headphones?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just talking to my crazy self." It's just like when I see a musician like looking at the neck on the guitar or whatever, I'm like,
Yeah.
"Look up, look up, look up, look up. Gotcha." As soon as they do
Yeah.
it, like one of those things, but I'm like voicing it out, you
Like
know?
you're trying to manifest that stuff happening. I want this to
Exactly.
happen. You know,
Yeah.
um, obviously, and I don't mean to interrupt your story, but like you
No,
brought up RBNX already. You're basically like the fourth member, and
love those
you're on
guys.
you're at all their shows. You're taking photographs of them. How do you maintain that level of urgency and action with them? I mean, you're seeing them, and like, does it? You know the song so well, you know them so well. Do you still get surprised with things? Is it still like do you still have to like think, "Oh, I was like this is so this," because I see them and I still hear and see new things with them, but I've only been watching
Mhm.
them for 2.5 years. You've been watching them
Right.
for so long. Like
Yeah.
how's that operate in your head?
You know what the funny thing is?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you their lyrics. I know, like, I know, like, I couldn't tell you most of the song titles,
Yeah.
and I love these guys, but it's like, I keep it as a surprise every show, so I don't get sick of them because, like, I get sick of things really
Yeah.
fast. The fact that I've been doing photography this long is like, wow, I can commit to things. That's cool. Like, it's neat, but, like, with bands, I don't I'll listen to them, I give them a once over just to get an idea. I'll see their live performance and I'm like, okay, now I have an idea of what I want to shoot. Th- You know? Um, and then it keeps it fresh. So like every show,
Yeah.
if that makes sense,
That
so
makes a
like
lot of sense. I mean, I don't overly listen to the bands that I do shows for because I want to just enjoy their music. I want to have some familiarity.
it freezes.
It used to be that I would try and listen to like hours of every band I was going to see so that I could sing along to every song. But
Right.
now I'm like, I kind of just like to be surprised.
Yeah, right.
I just like to hear it and then like organically just become aware of the songs as I've seen them a couple times in a row or something like that versus like listening to them over and over again. It's good to just go and experience in the moment.
100%. Yeah. And that's another thing that I like about photography as
Yeah.
well, because it puts me in that moment. I learned that through street photography because like I'm a very ADHD person. I have like a stressful job, like all that. My head's in a million. I have mental channel surfing, all that stuff. So when I'm on the street, no music, nothing. I'm just on the street, on the hunt, and letting everything come to me, you know? Like that's my process on the street. It's always just like, this is what I'm doing. At shows, kind of the same thing. I put my earplugs in as like, I have like slider ones.
Yep.
So they go up to 27 decibels. So as high as they could go, I kind of like mute everything out just so I know where I could still hear like the songs and everything, but it's muffled and I just know like certain notes, and that triggers me to the shots
Okay.
because I
Yeah,
know like certain notes lead to certain facial expressions and all that.
fascinating. Okay. Yeah, like how do you like I got two questions in my head here. So we're
Yeah.
gonna go back to my well, I'm gonna follow up where we're at. How do you know where to go? Like I watch you and like sometimes you get up on stage, you're going to the drummer, you're going here. Are you just going, okay, I've already got enough pictures of the singer and the bass player or the guitarist, drummer finally needs some photos. Like, do you just do it randomly or do you like really have a sense of what you're doing?
It's a sense, it's a mental checklist, and it's just like, all right, I'm sick of looking at this guy. I'm going to the other side.
Okay.
Like one of those things. Or it's like I flashed this flash so many times at this guy's face. I'm gonna let him play for a bit. I'm gonna go bother the singer now or the bass player or whatever, like one of those things. It's just like that's all goes through my head. But yeah, it's like again, just like intuition. It's just like it reminds me of like Austin Powers when he's the photographer and he's like, and I'm spent. Like that's yeah.
Yes, I exactly
I'm
John.
spent. That's it. Next person,
Do you
one of those
feel
things.
spent at the end of a show?
What was that?
Do you feel spent at the end of a show?
No, because I know I got to go home and edit. I usually feel spent at like 4 a.m. when I'm done, and I'm like, okay,
Yes.
now tomorrow morning I'm gonna I'll edit till say like if it's a lot of bands, I'll go straight through the night, and so everybody has their folders like the next day. I hope everybody wakes up at noon, kind of thing. So I actually have some time to relax.
Is that a normal thing? Because Aaron does the same thing, but put over photo. I
Yeah,
mean,
I love the
I
fact
will
that he
go to
does that.
bed and I'll wake up and I'll have like he'll share with me like 5 photos from every band for me to accept as a collaboration on my shows. I'm like, dude, it's
He's
really
fast.
like, how are you not asleep? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. It there is it's not like a rule, but it's kind of like a guideline. You want everybody to have their stuff like kind of the next day because but if you send it out the next week, there's going to be another show.
Yeah,
Right. So that's the hot topic. So they're not going to talk about a show a week or two prior. They're going to be talking about the one that's actually happening now. So that's
sure.
like my mentality through it, because it's just like, plus I want to put it to bed because like once I do the shoot, I get everything edited, I package everything, I make a couple posts, done. That's it. Unless somebody's asking for photos, I don't usually go back into the archives.
And you're just
Just-
done.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not one to like look in the rear view. I try to look forward all the
Sure.
time,
I get that.
Uh,
So like you talk about sharing, and I'm trying to think of the way you share. I get folders from you.
yeah, yeah.
And I saw like this last week, you shared from the Kill Lincoln show with RBNX
Yeah, that was
and
fun.
Millington. You had these kind of dope frames around them, but I don't think I'd seen you do that before. Was that something new you were doing?
Yeah, that's something new that I've been doing for kind of just for Instagram kind of thing, just like
Okay.
an online thing. I might start doing that in the finished packages. I'm kind of like experimenting with some stuff right
Okay.
now. Yeah,
Yeah, I
because I've
was thinking it'd
also
be cool if you came up with a frame that was like your brand.
yeah, because I have something like that as well
Yeah.
with like face photo and all that.
Yeah, I mean, and
So
there's that even say face. It's just like a certain color scheme or something. Because I think you did white,
yeah,
like, and white is obviously classic, and you do a lot of black and white photos and
right,
stuff.
right.
But yeah, I noticed that. And do you do you normally share as collaborations with the bands? Like, do you share like a set of 5 and collaborate, or you just send them and let them decide what to
I
share?
usually just send them the whole folder and like if whatever they want, because I feel like I'm shooting for them. I know what I like, but I want to see what they like out of it. So that's
Okay.
also a cool thing. My
And
my doppelganger.
and sometimes people mistake us.
Yeah, I'm still not sure which one's which.
But look at all the nice photos I take.
Yeah, I got 2/3 of RBNX that I live with.
I'm also sorry.
No, I love it.
Why?
It's great. We have a happy little family here. It's
They're
great.
fine.
They're good.
They're
I
good
keep 'em.
people.
They're good people.
Are you going
Cool.
on tour with them in December, January?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited.
One of
Get
the
some
shows
roomies.
I just booked, they were like, "Oh, we have our own photographer. Is that okay with you?" I was like, "No, they have their own photographer. No one else is allowed to take photos. He's very sensitive. Anyone else takes photos around him, he punches him in the face. That's why he's known as face photo."
Exactly. Exactly.
No,
Exactly.
I told them that you were perfectly capable of working around multiple other photographers
Y-
and giving everyone the respect that they need and everyone getting space. And
Yeah.
that was no problem as long as their photographer wasn't going to be sensitive about it.
Yeah, I get people asking like, does it bother you that you're shooting with other photographers? And I'm like, absolutely not. I want the competition. I want to
Yeah.
like I want even if they're like younger, I want to teach them stuff, because they're going to get better and that's going to make me better because I'm going to be like, oh shit, they actually got some skills. I got to amp up my game.
I feel like there would be a band being upset that other bands are playing, right? Like,
Mm,
like you're playing a show with other bands and you want to have the other bands because you're going to learn from them and they're going to learn from you and you're all going to grow together. So
yeah.
you want to see other photographers and you want to see what
Yeah.
they caught that you didn't catch or the way they develop pictures differently.
Right,
Or,
right.
there's got to be so many layers of nuance with photography that I'm too ignorant to know about.
100%. Like even like look at Aaron and I, right? Like
Yeah.
we've been shooting a lot of shows together. We shoot the same bands, the same venues, but our photos are like night and day
Night
difference.
and day.
He captures the movement and the lighting and all that. I get the grit and grime from punk rock and all that. Yeah, just very different styles. And
And I love both of your photos, but they're absolutely totally different.
yeah, like completely different.
Yes.
And the funny thing is, like, well, we poke fun at each other all the
Yeah.
time. Like I love Aaron. He's good people. And I tried doing his style in the past, and it's just like it isn't me at all. Like it's not my thing,
Nope. I get it. It'd be like if I tried to join a metalcore band on drums.
I
It's
get
not
that.
my
Yeah.
thing. I respect metalcore bands to a point, but I certainly can't drum for one.
Right, right, exactly. It's the same like with portraits. Like I'm getting better with
Yeah.
portraits now, but like when I had like a home studio at one point and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I hated it because I felt like a bird in a cage, right? You shouldn't be a bird. If you're
Yep.
a bird, you shouldn't be in a cage kind of thing. And I felt very just caged in, didn't like it, but I'm also a terrible director. Like I'm not good at like, oh, try this pose, try this
Sure.
pose. I just throw on music. I'm like, yo, do your thing. I want to catch your essence, and that was like what I would do. But
And I feel like that's actually like as a band member, live shots are ostensibly easier because we're just doing our thing and hopefully we don't we play with some energy. But
mhm.
as a band, we're like, oh, we need to take a band photo. I was like, oh, okay, are we standing against a brick wall? Or are we
Right,
gonna
right.
like
Yeah,
sit on a
the brick
porch?
wall. And
Are we
then
gonna sit at a bar? Like, what are we gonna do that
right,
hasn't already been done? Am I allowed to smile? Should I look tough and angry?
right.
Like, I'm
Every
not
metal
really tough
band
and
does.
angry. Like, it's so hard to get
Yeah.
a non-action pose as a band, and I don't know what photographers are good at it. Like, not,
There
I'm
was
sure there are, but I'm drawn to the live shots anyway. But
right.
as a band, I guess you're supposed to get those. Like, who do you know anyone that you think is like, oh, they're really good at taking still shots of bands? They're just posing for
The one
whatever.
guy that I studied the most, and
Yeah,
I got to meet him a few times and talk to him, was a guy named Mick Rock. To me, he's like bar none the best. Like he did Sid Barrett, David Bowie, the Queen, was it Queen 2 album with the four heads, or is that Queen 4? I'm getting numbers.
I don't remember which one that is, but I know the
Okay.
album. Yes.
Yeah. Like pretty much any iconic photo of any of those guys that I just mentioned, he took, and he kind of had like the RBNX approach where he was a friend of Sid Barrett. So now he's in with Pink Floyd and he just had that like,
Sure.
that all that time with them, like that's what was a great thing with RBNX. Just when I first started shooting them, I was like, do you mind if I come to your rehearsal so I could practice, to get to know you guys and to get to know your moves and all that. And that's exactly what Mick Rock did too, from what like he said and what I read and all that stuff. So I went down that road and that's helped me out so much,
Okay.
because I do have that like it's like my own personal band. And I was like, okay, let's go to the unit and let's get some photos, you know, so I get to practice pretty much as much as I want.
Does anyone ever ask you to do those sort of photos? And do you?
Yeah, I've actually been doing a few. Yeah,
Okay,
I've been liking. I have one coming up for Trouble Bound. So that's gonna
nice.
be fun. Yeah, love Trouble Bound. They're fun. Who else? And Grave Heist. That's another one that I'm on the
Very
docket
good
for with
bands, both of them.
both great bands. Yeah, yeah, and great people too. Oh, love them
I'm
all.
pretty sure it was you that got the candid shot of World Sucks at the rally where they were just kind of like sitting in immersion. They're kind of like looking at each other. And like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is
yeah.
definitely a band photo where they're not playing, but it just looks like who they are. Like that's a beautiful photo.
Thank you. They photograph so freaking well. So, oh my God, do they
For
like
such unattractive men, they do photograph
but
very
that
well.
photographs well, you know, like it really does. Like you can have any beautiful person, but like look at Keith Richards, right? He's not a
Yeah.
pretty person, but he looks great in photos,
Yes.
you know. It's just that. I think I have a marked photo pretty close.
All right. So for those of you watching on YouTube, you're gonna get to see that. Yeah, it looks dope. That looks
Oh,
great. Yeah.
you
Look at
know,
that
like
ugly dude.
yeah, beautifully ugly. It's
Beautifully
cool.
ugly.
Yeah. And that's what punk rock is.
Yes,
It's a bunch of
absolutely.
ugliness done in a beautiful way.
Yeah. So have you ever been taking photos and been like just suddenly, you're focusing on the photos, you have your earplugs in, but something just happens on stage and you're just like, oh, I just stopped taking photos for a moment and I just lost myself. Like, have you ever had a band make you just like forget what you were supposed to be doing?
Not forget, but there has been times where I'm like, I capture a moment in my brain and I'm like, I'm keeping that for myself
Okay.
kind of thing. You know, I'm not going to take that shot because that's
Yep.
mine. I'll have that one forever, you know, like that kind of stuff. I'll do that for
I
sure.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I'm always like, you know, I'm a shutterbug. So I'm constantly like shooting, but something has to be inside, you know, cause like a lot of the shots, by the time I shoot it, I don't think about it at all. Like when people are like, "Oh, you got any good shots?" My answer is always like, "I hope so," because
Yeah,
I
I mean,
don't
I've
know.
seen you just like flick your hand the same way I would be like, flicking a fly away from me. It's like your camera's just doing this. I'm like,
Yeah,
he's not even
yeah.
looking at what he's taking a picture of, but I know you are, I know you know what you're doing,
Mhm.
but, and you don't seem to frequently look at your camera and check your picture either. Like I see a lot of photographers, well, they'll do the photos and then they check.
Yeah,
You just seem to go like, fuck it, I'll look at it later. I'm just going to keep going.
yeah. Because I know that's another thing. Street photography helped out. That's actually a good point. So street photography is all motion, right? And the funny thing is, when I'm shooting on the street, I don't stop to take the picture, right? Because
Okay.
you're on the street, so you're part of that pulse. I don't stop, so I have to know my distance. I have to know my shutter, like all you know, the
Yeah,
exposure
your shutter
time, all
speeds
that
and all
stuff.
that,
I know
all
it
the
all.
technical
You
stuff that
know?
I know nothing about.
Okay, but I also know like the distance of like the focus range and all
Yeah.
that. So it's just like, okay, this guy's 3 feet away, because I know my angle, you know, and that's all it is. My
And
sister makes fun of me because she'll see like an Instagram live video. There was a Negative Racks a video that went out, and she sees me, and I'm just like, you know, she's like, "You look like a freaking ballerina at this show." You know, she's like, "I think
ballerina
you."
at a negative rack show too. That's just that's a
Yeah,
fucked up
that's
thing.
just, yeah. Those
Um,
guys,
who
those
taught
guys.
you all that? Like, I mean, or did you self-teach yourself? Like, I mean, understanding the angles, the
Yeah.
time, the distance, the shutter speeds, and like even all the different lenses, like,
Mhm.
whether it's the fishbowl lenses, I don't know if you use those or not, but like
Yeah, that's what I
there's so
primarily
many
use.
things to choose from and
Mhm.
they have to cost time and money. Like, how? How did you is it just just years of doing it, or did you have a mentor or
I had a couple mentors. Yeah, like Jessica in the beginning,
Yep.
she would teach me stuff. Then this guy Jeffrey Jones, who I met in when I lived out in California, he's a fashion photographer. He had like a place in California, but he also had a place in Chinatown. And I was at my buddy's house when I was living out there, and it turns out Jeff is my buddy's wife's ex-fiance, and it was like her birthday, and he's like, "Yo, this guy Jeff's coming over. Um, it's her ex-fiance." I was like, "Yo, we gonna like pound him kind of thing? Like, is that what this is?" He's like, "No, no, no, you'll get it when you see him." And when I met him, my buddy Sean was like, "Yo, you're either gonna love him or hate him." And I was just like, oh, one of these guys, you know, he's like, he's very California. And he pulls up in like a Honda Element with a surfboard on top, you know. And he's like, dude, where do I park? And I look at Sean, I'm like, I love this dude, you know. And then the valet guy comes up and he's like, I ain't paying for you. And he like peels out and he goes like around the corner, parks on his own, shows up to this nice restaurant because like a birthday dinner, but he's wearing like a pink like button down, like what I'm wearing. But underneath it, you could see his wetsuit. He literally just got done surfing. Like his shirt is still wet. He's like wearing ripped jeans kind of thing, you know, but he's a great photographer and he taught me so much. When we first met, he's like, yeah, everybody's a photographer these days, like one of those. And I was just like, oh, this guy's going to freaking hate me kind of thing. But I moved back to New York and like a month later, my boy Sean's wife calls me. He's like, yo, Jeff wants to bring you on a shoot. And I was like, oh, okay. What am I doing? She's like, probably lighting or something. And at that point, I wanted to learn lighting, right? Because I already knew the camera and all that stuff. But lighting is because you're capturing light. That's what photography is, you know? So I was so nervous because it was for a magazine shoot. We had stylists there. We had hair and makeup. The head of the magazine was there because it was a full on like fashion magazine shoot. You know, I threw up like 4 times on the way over. I was so nervous, you know. And those people that I worked with on that set, I am still friends with today. Me and Jeff are like great friends, you know. And I just did lighting that whole time. I was like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'll hold the light and you just pull me wherever you want to go. I don't care. You don't worry about hurting me. Just get the freaking shot. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And then since then, I've been like his assistant, you know, so I learned like a ton from that guy, just assisting on fashion shoots, which I had like really no interest in. But he loved that about me because I had like no angles, you know, trying to like.
Yeah, you weren't trying to get in on his thing or like get in the
use
like you just want to learn the craft.
Yeah. And he's like a Jedi and like a MacGyver when it comes to photography, you know, like I seen him do some crazy stuff with like flashlights, pointing it directly into the lens to get like orbs and like gels on the lens itself and putting Vaseline on the lens. I'm like, dude, that's a $3,000 lens. It's like, so what? The stylist will buy it. I don't care. Like one of those things, you know. I'm just like, I love this guy. You know, he just like doesn't care, but everything is for the shoot. And that's like one of the biggest things I took out of him, you know. And to this day, he's one of my closest friends. Like I love the dude so much. And he hates when I call him like a mentor or I thank him or anything. He's just like, shut up, dude. You know, like one of those. So I love
but
it.
like you have to learn from someone in some way.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's, you know, we have the internet nowadays. I understand, but like just hearing you and seeing your work, you have a level of knowledge that would be hard to just learn on your own as like an autodidact. Like I imagine you needed some guidance.
Plus I study, like to this day, like there isn't a day that goes by that I'm not watching something or reading something about photography, other artists, whatever, whether it's street photography. I watch more street photography than band photography, believe it or not, because I feel like I don't want to steal anybody's style. I want to just like, I've been doing this path organically and I want to kind of keep it that way, you know, and just fall into different styles instead of just like stealing Aaron's style or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. It's bad enough I have a roommate that looks like me, you know, taking my style, you know.
So I mean, obviously we already mentioned that you like
that's RBNX.net.
Shameless plug time. Shameless
no one
plug.
does .net. Go away.
.org.
.net.
Their email is
is that where you have your AOL account too?
AOL.com. Yeah. They're optimized now.
It's a GeoCities site.
Exactly. Yeah. But
oh
yeah, just study a
ton. You interrupted me. Now I don't know what I was gonna say no more.
Yeah.
You go. You're the guest.
Even like in my room, I have photographs taped to my wall. So like if I can't sleep, I'll just like shine my phone and study old photos that like I've taken on the streets or in bands and be like, all right, next one, I'm going to change this. I don't like how this one came out. So I'm going to like, oh, I see there's a soft focus over here. I'm going to change that next time I shoot, you know, and find like all the errors in my shots.
Are they errors or are they just
not even errors, but just things I want to enhance, you know, because I want to see how far I could take it, like skill wise.
Yeah.
You know,
and so your skills, like we had already mentioned, you're putting the frames around some of the social media pictures. what is it you're focusing on right now? Like if I said, okay, what have you been trying to improve, focus on, learn in the last week or two? Could you tell me what that is, or is it really broad and changes on a daily basis because you're ADHD?
It changes on a well, thank you for the daily basis. It's usually like every 5 minutes, because by the time I'm like, oh, I'm going to type this in. Wait, what was I going to study again? And then something else pops in and I go on different rabbit holes, like I'll have like 6 different rabbit holes I'm going through, you know. What would be actually right now, because I'm trying to get bigger shows. I want to shoot like more productions. Like I got to
Okay,
shoot like some bigger bands recently, like Dropkick Murphys, Bad Religion, the
that's awesome.
Slackers. Yeah, it's so like I'm so blessed for being able to do that. Like that made me really happy. I like the lighting, even at Camp Pennsylvania when it was like Scowl, Murphy's Law,
Yeah.
the lighting was like really good. So it's just like, oh wow, this is a production. So I want to see how I would do on like kind of like a Taylor Swift production,
Yeah.
like I don't know anything
Yeah.
about her music or anything, but for that level, I would love to like get to test myself.
And where would you learn that? Like, is that something as like, would that be another mentor thing, or
It
are there
could be.
resources for you to learn how to do large stadium photo production?
I've been trying to meet as many people as I can that have like access to that stuff, but that's even hard because nobody wants to give that key away kind of thing. So
Sure.
like I cold call, cold email, just like, hey, I'm a photographer at a blah blah blah. This I shoot for Outsider magazine,
Yeah.
just to give me some kind of credentials, and see where it goes. And that's kind of how I got the drop kicks 2 times. I just
Okay.
like wrote them, I wrote them, then I wrote the venue, or I'll
Yeah.
just write a venue. So, and that's
Are you
been work.
typically in those behind those barriers? Is like I know at Camp Pennsylvania you had like the 3 minute rule or something like
Yeah, the
that.
3 song rule. Yeah.
Yeah, the 3 song rule. So is
I
that
love it.
standard?
For the bigger shows, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, I like that because then it's like, yo, game on. You gotta do your thing. The first show I shot was Dropkick at the Civic Center in Poughkeepsie. And I remember there was this huge security guard. They're like, yo, you got 3 songs. And I'm like, great, this is a punk show. So 3 songs is like 5 minutes at most,
Yeah.
if you're
It's six
lucky,
minutes if you're
you
lucky
know?
if they talk between songs.
Right, exactly. And that band has, I think, like 6 members, something like
Yeah.
that. Cause you got the banjo, you got the accordion, all that stuff. So I remember I got the guys on like stage right, and it was like the 3rd song. So I was like, oh shit, I still have to get those other guys. So I go running across the photo pit, and there was this big security guard. He was like a refrigerator. So as I'm running, I'm like, yo, suck it in, just so I could pass him and go, "Tuk, tuk, tuk," and I was able to get my shots. Like, and then the song ended, he's like out. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
And I landed every member I got. So it was
That's
pretty
awesome.
cool. But
Is
it's like
that
going to
is that hard to get a whole band photo? Like I have to imagine because like it's hard to get far enough back to get a
yeah.
full band, right? Like you're getting
Mhm.
1 or 2, maybe 3 members, like, but to get all 6 of them, you'd
Yeah,
have to
you
be
gotta
like
kinda go
much
back
further
into the
back.
crowd, yeah, 'cause if you're behind that barrier,
Yeah.
luckily for those shows, they gave me full access to the whole venue, so
Okay.
after the 3 songs, I was able to just walk around the Civic Center and just, like, get shots from the crowd. I went all the way up the bleachers and stuff
Okay.
and got that full band thing. Like, what's that song? I forget the song, but it was, like, from The Departed, something about losing a leg.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know that one? Shipping Up to Boston or something
Yep.
like that? He actually had there was a guy in the audience that was an amputee, so he's singing the song with the leg, the prosthetic leg in his hand. So I was able to get that shot from the crowd.
Well,
So
that's
that was
pretty
pretty
dope.
cool. Instead of just like one guy with a prosthetic leg, you wouldn't be able to tell that story, through the pictures. Like, what's this guy doing? So I got the whole band playing, and it was like the amputee guy, the guy Ken holding the leg, and then the rest of the band with all the lights and smoke. It was a pretty cool shot.
That is awesome. I know you get, plenty of response and praise back from like the smaller regional bands, but did you hear back from like Dropkick or Bad Religion or any of those bands after you sent photos?
I did once with Dropkick, but it's weird. Like with the bigger bands, it's like you send them this stuff, and it's pretty much just like thanks, and you never hear from 'em again.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll see like a post or something that they'll do. Like I did see a couple of my shots in like a post that Dropkick made that had like multiple photographers in there. I was like, oh, I saw my shot in there.
Yeah.
You know, like one of those things. So like to me, that's like their hip hat tip, you know, kind
Do
of
they
thing.
often
So
tag you, or I mean, I
oh yeah,
imagine
yeah,
they're
yeah.
on social media, but like, do they tag everybody? I hope.
Yeah, they credit and all that. Absolutely. Yeah, they were very cool like that. Yeah.
That is one of the hardest things when I do albums.
Hmm.
Bands can't tell me who the fuck took their pictures. And it
Yeah.
irritates me because I'm like, I'd rather not use a picture that doesn't have a photo credit.
Right. Right.
Like, this is a
Absolutely.
great picture, but can you find one with a photo credit or try and find out who it is? Like, you know what show it was? Like,
Right. Exactly.
there
Yeah.
couldn't have been
The
more than
credit's
50
pretty
people at your show.
important.
Come on, figure it out.
Yeah. And if I don't get credit, I'll go on the post and be like, in the immortal words of Biggie, who shot you? So I kind of do some like comedy with it, you know, just so I'm not just like, yo, you didn't credit me. And one of those things, you know, just keep it kind of light.
Anyone ever take your stuff and make a flyer? Because I think back to like in the 90s when I was making flyers at Kinko's. I mean, I
Hmm.
took pictures out of magazines, pictures off of postcards, you name it. I just took shit and made copies of it and made flyers.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
I think it took me some time, to realize as I got older that using like photographs of, I might use a photograph as something that's like totally not related to music, but even then, I
Mhm.
never would credit it on a flyer. But of course, I wasn't posting them on the internet either. Like, they were just being handed out. Like,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that? Has it ever happened? How do you
If it's
feel?
for a flyer, I don't care. You know, I get people that'll hand me like their cassettes or their CD and stuff. They're like, "Oh, you'll like it. Your pictures are inside." I'm like, "Oh, sweet," and they'll credit me and all that stuff. I have been on flyers before. That I don't care about. It's not like they're making millions off of it or
Yeah,
something like that. You know, people that know me will know that's my shot and all that, and be like, "Oh, I saw your shot at this." So I don't really mind, you know, because like at the end of the day, we are kind of a tribe, you
yeah.
know, in this. So we're all trying to help each other out. So I don't, if it's like another band trying to do their thing, I don't mind it at all,
Have
you
you
know?
done any album covers? There's a lot of bands
Yeah.
that do live, like live photos on the album. Who have you done for album covers?
For album covers, this guy, Nathan Moses, that was my favorite one. He's out of Paris, France. I went to college with him. He has a death metal album. And
Okay,
then during COVID, he was quarantined in the south of France. And he hits me up. He's like, yo, I wrote this album. He does everything himself. He was in
wow,
some like Nickelback kind of band in Paris, but he has like a metal background. He's one of the best guitarists I've ever met in my life. Like he's insane. Like the talent this guy has is crazy.
sorry, Kyle.
Um, it's bonkers. Like
Yeah,
I love this dude to death. And he was just like, I'm quarantined, I'm away from my family. So I was just like, all right, give me 5 words of what you were feeling during recording this album, and I'll get you a shot. And I did the same thing for his death metal album.
fuck yeah,
So
dude.
he gave me the 5 words, and it was like loneliness, abandonment, all that stuff. So I went out to Millbrook and I shot Bennett College before it was torn down. Like that's a historic place for me,
Yeah,
some of my
yeah,
friends and all that. And that made the album cover. Like I sent it. He's like, that's exactly what I wanted. Because he was in kind of like a older place in the south of France
yeah.
and run down, and it reminded him of where he was and all that. And it was like loneliness, abandonment, you know, just destruction, and everything that he was going through during the writing of that album was in that photo for him,
That's
you
awesome.
know. And then his black metal album, I found like this abandoned church out of Beacon. And it was I was just tooling around, like I wasn't even thinking of the album really that
Yeah,
much at that point. And I'm walking and the lighting was just perfect. So I popped the fisheye on. I put it to F22, and because the sun was right by the steeple, and made this like, and I was able to make like a burst out of it. So it's something out of like, kind of like out of the ninth gate. So it was
okay.
like perfect for like a death metal, black metal album, you
Nice.
know, and it worked. So those are my 2 major album covers.
Do you travel with your camera at all times on the off chance that Inspirato hits?
Hmm.
Did you have
I
a
always
different camera? Do you have a different travel camera so you don't like you're not carrying around your best thing? You're not like telling
no,
everyone like,
not
hey, Dave's
yet.
always got an expensive camera in
I'm
the front.
saving up for a Leica for my street stuff,
Okay.
you know, just like a rangefinder kind of thing. Sometimes I'll bring like a film camera for street. You know, I have like some film rangefinders like Canon. I have a couple Canon rangefinders that I'll do that, but most of the times I'll just bring my normal rig camera, but I don't use the lenses that I use for shows. I use these very cheap Chinese lenses, 100% manual, so I have to do everything on the fly. You
Okay.
know, nothing's automatic. But even when I shoot bands, everything's 100% manual.
Okay.
Mhm.
And how does that give me a little bit of help understanding exactly what that means as someone who doesn't shoot pictures?
Okay. So a lot of the new cameras have autofocus, right? Like I have some autofocus lenses. If I'm doing like a bigger show, I'll definitely use those to make
Yeah.
sure I get sharpness all the time, all that. But when I'm shooting like say I'm shooting RBNX, majority of the time I'm just using a 8 millimeter fisheye that I have to manually focus. I have to manually do the aperture, all that stuff. Like nothing's
Okay.
computerized. It's like it's the analog version of a digital camera in a way.
Okay.
If
Excellent. And
Yep.
how do you feel about the idea that everything is digital nowadays? I mean, there's a
Yeah.
part of me that feels like everyone still like worships vinyl records and World Sucks recorded in an analog studio with reel
That
to
was the
reel tape.
best. I
Is
loved
there
it.
still an idea that like film is better than digital out there in the world?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's just so expensive. I shoot a lot, so it's just like by the time everything's processed and scanned, it's time and money. I just it's not feasible for me. I'd be more broke within like 3 days.
No, I get it. Do you think other people that are like do large scale people who make a lot of money, do they use actual film or do they still think it's not worth my money
No,
to
they're
do it?
still they sometimes they do both. Like a
Yeah.
lot of street photographers are film. They're using like Leica cameras with film and they do the processing themselves, they do the scanning themselves. I respect that totally. If I had the means to do that right now,
Yeah.
I'd be doing that and like that would be my life.
Because then you would just develop the picture, and if you wanted to digitize it, you would just scan it in and do all the
Yeah,
shit on
absolutely.
Photoshop that you're doing anyway.
Mhm.
But you're
It
like basically skipping that whole organic dipping it in the water or whatever.
right.
You
I
see how much
miss
knowledge I have of this.
Well, I had when I lived in Beacon, I had a dark room. Um, so I got divorced and I was just like, all right, photography's it for me. No more dealing with this domesticated bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, I had no couches, I had no pots and pans. I got rid of everything, like anything comfortable equaled laziness, right? Like I didn't even own sweatpants. Sweatpants equals comfort, comfort equals laziness. Like that was my mentality back then. My refrigerator was literally boxes of film and bottles of water. That was it. Water was the only food and saltine crackers. That was the only food I allowed in the house. I was just eating crackers. It was crazy, like I had a mattress on the floor. That was it. And it was a 2 bedroom, beautiful apartment, but I
Sure.
used it for photography and I just studied it every day. And then I would have other photographers come up and I would kind of like sublet my apartment out as a photography studio because I had all the strobes, backdrops, like everything. I have all that stuff. So it just worked out well and that would help pay rent.
Total respect to that. Total respect. What
And I
was
learned
the okay? Of
and I learned, because
course
like
you
I
learned.
would watch what the photographers are doing and then I was like, oh, so that's how to do that. Okay, cool. Watch how they do the lighting and, so it helped out a lot.
I feel like if I had taken that idea and watched as all the drummers that I've played with over the years,
Hmm.
oh many.
Oh, I'm
I
sure. Yeah, yeah.
I probably could have learned so much, but I remember one of my old guitarists back like 30 years ago was like, "You just need to watch at least
Hmm.
3 songs of every band and just sit there and think you want to come away with one idea. One
Hmm.
idea, guys. This is what you should do." And I was like, and I've never forgotten he suggested it. I've just never done it.
No,
I wouldn't
okay.
say never done it. I've never consistently done it.
Okay. See, I had a moment actually. This isn't even photography related.
Yeah.
This is guitar related. So I play punk rock, always played
Yeah.
like super heavy. I saw Black Flag at the Chance a few years, like probably about like 5 to 7 years ago. And I was watching Greg Ginn and I'm like, holy shit, he plays like so gentle, but he's in like one of the most fierce punk bands ever, you know? And that moment when I saw that completely changed how I played guitar that night.
Fascinating.
Yeah. but just
And your
watching.
band is, now that we're talking about bands, we don't talk about bands here. It's a very unique band, much like you had said that you
Oh,
really like experimental stuff. It's
yeah,
definitely a band that defies description that I could pinpoint.
we're like avant-garde or free improv jazz punk rock.
Yeah, it's kind of
That's
like I saw at RPM Fest. I saw Flummox,
yeah.
and I couldn't tell you what they sound like. I mean, the closest I would be is like, oh, maybe they sound like Mr. Bungle or World Inferno Friendship Society, but they don't sound like either one of them. But just
Mhm.
in the idea that they don't have a consistent pinable sound is the only part.
Right.
That's the only thing that like I compare them to, because I'm waving my
Punk,
hands in the air, going, yeah.
Punk Girl's interesting. So when I all right, so I went through like a breakup, and it was affecting my photography, right? Because I was
Okay.
like not in the mental space. So I was like, I'm gonna teach myself guitar. I had guitars. I've always been around guitars. I knew like 3 chords, you know. So I spent 7 months just every day when I got home, turn my amp on, take my jacket off, get something to eat, play guitar until I either fell asleep or had to go to work. That was it. Every day for seven
That's
months.
level of intensity, dude.
Yeah, I'm a crazy person.
I'm
Um,
aware.
yeah, you've hung out with me a few times, just a few. Um, so I brought what I wrote out of all that, which is just like a few riffs here and there, to my buddies down in Rockaway in Brooklyn. They're like real musicians. I consider myself like the Anthony Kiedis of the band, you know, because like my bass player, he's like on the composers list at Carnegie Hall. My
Jesus.
saxophone player is like tours the world and all
Yeah.
that stuff, you know, same with the drummer. It's like crazy stuff, you know. And I'm like, why am I even in this room? But we went
Huh.
to school together. I've recorded these guys like a billion times, you know,
Yeah.
like I love these guys, you know. So my buddy John was just like, yo, we're a band now. And I'm like, no, 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 no. This is just like I just want a CD. Let's just record something. He's like, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no. We're a band. So I was like, all right. So he calls the guys, everybody shows up. We have like, I think it's like 9 members in our band, you
Jesus.
know, by the
And
time
you're
we're
not a
done.
ska band.
And we're not a ska band, no, but we
Yeah.
do have horns. Yeah. So we recorded that whole album in 2 hours. We wrote it, recorded it just based off of the riffs that I had. The singer was literally looking at a bookshelf and just like picking words out and just like freestyling. Like every lyric is just freestyle. And then like we're just like crazy people. So like, oh, let's do this one song called Grateful Fish. We'll do like a 20-minute breakdown song. So everybody like moshes. It's like a jam band song, but like hardcore. Let's just do something like that. So they mosh for 20 minutes and pass out and we go home. Like that's our mentality towards stupid stuff, you know? Just a bunch of dumbasses just like
Mosh jam.
freestyling like this stupid mosh jam band, you know, it's just like, okay. And then there was a song Warm Fuzzy that we have, and Ayumi, she didn't know what like punk rock was or hardcore. So we had to explain to her what it was. And we're like, do you want to sing one of the songs? And she's like off the boat Japanese, you know, like, and she's like, no, I want to scream. So like, all right, here's the mic, do your thing. And it's bonkers because it's nothing like hardcore or punk rock. It literally sounds like somebody's getting murdered over like these riffs and horns and all that stuff, you know? And I'm just like, this is insane. But we actually, that song, after we did our release, but backtrack a little bit. When John gave me the CD to listen to, like the final mix, I was like, don't release this. I hate it. This isn't what I thought, you know, I had in my head. I was like, this is terrible, you know? And he's like, no, this is actually pretty good. I'm like, do not release it. I was so mad because it was not in the direction that I had, not
Sure.
thinking that like, dude, there's like 8 other people in the band. This is like a collaborative thing, you know?
Yeah.
And that's when I like checked my ego. I was like, yeah, release it. And then 2 weeks after the release, we get a letter from Mark Appleyard, the pro skater. And he's like, can we use your stuff in a skate video? And we're in like a professional skate video
Like,
now.
yeah, dude.
It was crazy. And they wanted to fly us out to San Diego for the premiere, but COVID happened. So we had like this Zoom premiere thing, which was, it
That
was
would have
still
been some great
cool.
photography too.
Absolutely. Yeah. 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 100%. So we have a second album coming out. Like the first album is Cock Girl Better Than the Eagles, because we all hate the Eagles. That's like one thing we all have in common. And our second album is going to be called But Not As Good as Queen.
Yeah.
And I have
Who
right
is?
now I have written 6 songs And yeah, I wrote about 6 songs for it that got approved by the band, and John has like about 5. So we have like an album's worth.
Okay.
So in the next few months,
And
we're
you
gonna
let
be
me know when
doing
you want to play a show.
yeah, that's the funny thing. They all want to play, and I'm like, I don't want to play live. I'm a photographer.
Oh
Who's
no,
gonna
you want
shoot?
to play live?
Who's
Yeah,
gonna shoot? Who's gonna
you're
shoot?
gonna play
I just have
live.
this.
Aaron's gonna take the photos.
I know now. Now I got a guy.
Yeah, yeah, because
So
Aaron's got the same problem when he plays, where he doesn't get to take photos of
yeah, now he's got me.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, so that was like a thing with me. Like I had no want to play live. I like the creative process.
yep.
I like the recording process, and then I'm good.
But have you done it before?
No, the closest we did was we had a rehearsal at Trans Picos. We used to have a studio there, and people would just come into the studio, and as we're like rehearsing, we like look out, and there's like 15, 20 people, and they're all dancing and stuff, and we're like, oh, that's interesting.
I feel
Oh,
like you
that's
need to do it at
appropriate.
least once.
That's what I promised the
You
guys I
have
would
to
do
do it at
that.
least once
Yeah.
because who knows? You like with your level of intensity, you might be like, "That's it, world tour. I love
Yeah.
this."
The Cuck World Tour.
Yeah,
We'll get
I
out
mean,
of
think
we'll get
about
out
who
of
you are, right?
PTSD.
Like your whole story is like, "Oh, I dabbled in this and then I fell in love with it. Oh, I decided to do this and I just did this." And like, you might realize like, "Oh, I like being up here. I like
Yeah,
doing this."
that scares me. It
Don't be
does.
scared of it.
Because like 24 hours of the day, I'm like studying photography. I'm gonna need like a 25th hour or something just to like do that now.
I mean, there's a lot of time on tour to do nothing but just sit around.
But that's when I'm listening to like other photographers and studying and all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, see,
yeah,
that's what I'm
like
saying. You can be on tour doing all that.
yeah. You're
I
you're
used to
gonna
go on
see
my
firsthand
college
while
school trip when
everybody's
I was on
sleeping. I'm
tour.
like, I'm
Yeah,
doing my thing.
yep. And that's
Yeah,
how even now, like I take schoolwork with me to Camp Punxsutawney and things like that. Like I've always got schoolwork to do. It's just bullshit.
yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's the meter keeps going, you just got to keep going, going, going. Because once you stop, it's harder to start again, you know,
Oh yeah.
you know,
It's
I'm
I
getting
I
old.
struggle if it gets 8 o'clock and I've stopped working,
Hmm.
then I'm pretty much gonna be done because I
Yeah.
can't restart. I'm like, well, it's 8 o'clock. I'm gonna lay down in bed and read, and that means in about an hour and a half I'm gonna be asleep.
Hmm.
Whereas if
Hmm.
I sit at my computer, I was like, I could probably push through till midnight, no problem. But as soon
Yeah.
as I get out of my chair and I stop and I do something, I was like, oh, that's it. I'm kind of done because
Yeah.
I work a lot. So,
My settling down is literally like having like say a photography or music thing on like YouTube on the TV or whatever, me editing while like I have like one ear pod in listening to like say Miles Davis or something like that. And that's me just like winding down for the night.
that's not winding down. That's still working.
Yeah, but that's still like just only 3 things as opposed to like the 20 things that I got going on. So I'm
But
like, I'm a freaking slacker.
has there ever been a show, and you don't have to name bands or anything like that, it was just like,
RBNX.
that, like, this is just a shit show that, like, the pictures weren't good. The vibe was terrible. You're like, fuck, why am I here taking pictures of this shit? Like, this is just
Yeah.
a shit show.
They're yeah, but I appreciate them
Okay.
because even though like the pictures might not be great, I'm still shooting and I'm still off the couch,
Okay.
right? Because the couch is laziness kind of thing, you know? Um, so there's a ton of bands that I'm just like, Jesus Christ, how do they even they're never gonna get out of their backyard, you know? It's like, oh my God, you know. Um, there's been over the years definitely a lot of that, but I appreciate it because I'm still out, because usually at those shows I still know people. So it's like that's me being social and all that. Cause like that being social is difficult for me, believe it or not. Like after those shows, I need that time to just like wind down, like
Sure.
editing and just focus on that, recharge my batteries, all that stuff, because it's the politicking is a lot, like the shaking babies, kissing hands and all that stuff. It's a
No,
lot.
I understand always having to be on. It's
Yeah.
like when I was a teacher, I would tell like this, like my teacher persona isn't fake, but it's front of stage Scott. Back of stage Scott is who comes home and sits down and puts on his gym shorts and a raggedy t-shirt and pops open a beer and like, you know, relaxes with a comic book. Like, it's not
Yeah.
the guy that's jumping around in a fancy suit, like screaming at the top of his lungs, trying to get your attention because he's trying to cram civics down your throat. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, I get it. Does the quality of the music affect your picture? Like, I'm seeing you now, like, I can see that there are bands out there that are visually appealing and maybe even have good stage presence, but their songs just bore the piss out of you. But are you
Well,
able to
there's a
still
lot
get
of that.
like, and like, there's a lot of that,
Yeah,
but you
yeah, because
still get good
deep down,
pictures
I
out of
am
it,
a
right?
music snob. Like, I'm
Yeah.
very into music, you know, all kinds, like all over the world, you know, like a good example. I was playing with a band called Platypus. I sit in with them every once in a while. It's been a minute, but it, you know, and this guy came in and we wanted to like enhance Platypus's sound, right?
Yeah.
So the guy is a stylist and he's carrying around a sewing machine. So he hooked up some contact mics to it, hit the mics into a mixer, the output into pedals into an amp, right? So he has the sewing machine pedal to speed everything up. So now you're getting a drone going through like the mixer, which is going through like a delay, a phaser, all that stuff, you know. So that it's just interesting, you know, like I love all that shit.
That's awesome.
You know,
Awesome.
just to like always enhance and just experiment, whether
Yeah.
it's photos, music, whatever.
So do you have any plans? And I know we've talked about this a little bit of like publishing a book. Like I mentioned in the intro, like Band in DC is like a, you know,
I love that
really,
book. That
yeah.
that's where I got my style from. That was the first book where I was just like, yo, because that was like my intro to Minor Threat, Dead Kennedys, Bad Brains.
It's a great fucking book.
It's a great book. Yeah, I have a couple copies of it actually, because I
Where
lost
are we gonna
one.
get the Facebook? Oh Jesus.
There's one on
You can't call it
Facebook.
Facebook. Fuck.
Well, they're called Meta now or some shit, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah.
I actually I have a book for Outsider that I've been working on.
Okay.
I have a street book that I've been working on, but then I have an idea for all the bands that I've been working with over the years and call that like only bands instead of like only fans. Do like
Okay. I like it.
you know, and have that book. So that's something that is in the process. Like I have folders of pictures that I'm going to put in it. I just got to get it into the editing software to create the book
and bind it. And
yeah,
you're gonna look for a publisher, or are you gonna self-publish?
I'm probably going to self-publish. I don't know any publishers like that for photo books or whatever. So I'll probably just do it on my own.
Maybe we'll talk about it. We got to figure something out for that.
Okay. Yeah. I'm totally down with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, just saying.
Yeah. I'm open
great.
to anything.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm just very like DIY. So I'll just do it myself, whatever, you know, like one of those things, you know.
I was like, oh, we like, what are those like, all the different bands? You get like a live track from every band and put out a vinyl with it to go with it, like a bookend vinyl.
Yeah.
Ooh. What's saying?
We got to talk off air, Mr.
Oh, yeah. Things can be done. Things can be done.
Things can be done. Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you got going ahead? What's coming up for you in the near run? Any shows you're excited for?
I'm excited for the RBNX tour. I am very excited for that. The Slackers are going to be coming to New York doing a like a borough tour, so I'm going to be going through a couple of those. I'm excited for that. I should be able to shoot those too because I've been talking with Vic and Jay a little bit from the Slackers. I got to shoot them on a cruise a couple weeks ago, the Rocks Off cruise.
Okay.
City. That was pretty awesome. It was a great set, but I'm not a boat person. I'd be a land lover. Oh my God. I like 3 minutes onto the boat. I'm like, oh.
At least you don't drink.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God. That might have like straightened me out. Maybe. I don't know, but it was bad. And
I mean, I don't see how you could drink and take photographs because you don't have time unless you like did shots because like your hands are constantly busy. Like I don't see how you could walk around holding a beverage and taking photographs.
Oh yeah, that would never happen. I would have to get a straw and just like suck it down real fast and then like,
3 shots real quick, done and done.
Yeah. Plus I have like one drink. I need a nap, man. Like I'm not a good drinker. Like I used to be a very good drinker, but not no more.
No, I get that. Respect to that.
Yeah. Plus I'm also on the road all the time, you know? So it's just like I don't need any of that drama. getting pulled over or whatever. So
Trust me, I understand. So I
yeah.
told my kid, I was like, I barely drank in my teens and early until I was like past 21. She's like, why? I was like, I had 4 brothers. My dad's like, the worst thing you can do to this family is get pulled over after having a single beer. He's like,
Hmm.
it's not even about being a DUI. It's that like you're underage and having any alcohol in you, and we're
Yeah.
all going to lose our insurance. And there's 7 of
Yeah.
us in this family, and you will screw us heavily. So I
Yeah.
don't care if you're going to have a beer. That's fine. Don't you dare get behind the wheel of a car. I was like,
Yeah.
even if you're sober, like you get pulled over and your blood alcohol. Like, he just drilled that into my head. I was like, got it. Don't do it.
Yeah. 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 If I had lost my car, I'd be done, or lost a license or something
Yeah.
like that. Like,
How would you get the shows? What would you
I get
do?
to those. I work 2 hours away.
Yeah.
I live in Highland. You pretty much got to drive a mile to get a cup of coffee. You
Yeah.
know, um, I still have a very city mentality.
Yeah.
So it's just like, even though I do have like a mobile right there where I can get
Yeah.
coffee, and a Dunkin' right like in the parking lot,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, you got to drive.
Oh, I feel you. It kills me how that I have to drive 20 minutes to like get a decent cup of coffee where I'm at right now. I mean, I can get to a Stewart's
Right?
in like 10 minutes, but
Yeah,
like
Stu's is great. That place is
it's
magic.
fine. It's fine. I'm not from this area, but it's fine. It's
Ugh,
serviceable.
they have best milkshakes, man. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
the
usually
milkshakes
do
are good.
dairy, but their
Milkshakes are good.
milkshakes are fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, drinking is just not my jam. Just yeah,
I feel you.
yeah. It's all about shooting,
Good. I'm good. I'm glad
All
you
the
did that.
stuff I've done, like shooting has gotten me the most like excited, amped up, and just just excited about life. Like, it's just like, I got my camera, where am I gonna go? And it's opened so many doors.
And
And I
it
met
and
so
it
many
comes
people.
across in your work,
Oh,
right?
that's
Like
cool. Thank you.
that's the whole thing, right? Like I said, like I've seen a lot of photographers over the years,
Mhm.
and you are bar none one of the most impressive I've ever seen.
Oh shit, thank you. Thank
So
you. See,
yeah,
I still think I have like about 20 years to go to get to where I want to be.
that
Like,
may be true, but you're already impressing me, which whatever, who the fuck am I? But yeah,
you're Scott.
I'm Scott.
Good man.
Man,
I appreciate that though. And I get a lot of good feedback, and it's just like, one of the coolest things over the years that's happened was just meeting like Steve Messina and Richard Zoller, and being like in their circle, and like
yeah,
talking. I'm like, holy shit, I've been watching your work for years. And now like you're talking to me, we're joking around, like we'll hang out. It's cool stuff.
yeah,
Like I'm just like, how did I get here? I'm so humbled by it,
that's
because these
awesome.
guys that I've been watching in the hardcore scene as long as I can remember. You know, it's nuts. Like, I remember that after COVID, the lockdown lifted, there was that show at Tompkins Square. It was like Madball, Wisdom in Chains. It was a
Yes,
really great show. I was down there shooting street, and my buddy Chris Politz hit me up. He's like, "Yo, you going to the show?" I didn't even know about it, and I just had like my street photography rig on that day, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll go with you." It turned out to be like one of the greatest days, because it's like there's Drew Stone, there's Steve Messina, there's Rich, all my like idols
yeah.
in the hardcore scene, doing like the photography, the videography, all that stuff is right on stage. So while the bands are playing, I'm looking at the side of the stage, seeing what they're doing. And like my buddy Chris is like cracking up over that. He's like, "You don't even care about the bands." I'm like, "I've seen them all a million times. Who cares? These guys, this is important to me,
That's the show for me.
That's the show for me. Yeah, exactly. Like, even when I go to like concerts or whatever, I'm looking at what the sound guy's doing.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the gear and all that stuff. It's just like, yeah, I've heard these songs already. That's cool that you do stage performance. Your production's great. You know, like, it's like I'm never like off the clock in a way. You know, and I don't mind it.
no, I get that. That's why you're so good at it.
Ah, thank
So
you, thank you. I'm trying.
Um, but I'm going to wrap it up. We've hit a
Okay.
little bit over an hour, which is where I try and keep it at to keep everything exciting and fresh for everybody. Dave, absolute pleasure. I know we've tried to have this conversation many times on video as opposed to
Yeah,
just hanging out at shows, and love you, man. Like,
I
I
love you
love your
too,
work,
dude.
love you as a person. Thank you for being on here.
Dude, thank you so much. It's an honor. It really
Perfect.
is. I love hanging out with you at shows. You do such great things for the community, for for our tribe, for everything. Hudson
Yeah, but
Valley. You're
thank you,
doing
buddy.
good stuff, dude. Good
Thank
stuff.
you,
You
sir.
bring in people, exposing them to great music. Yeah, it's a cool thing. It's a cool
Thank you,
thing.
sir. Thank you. And for those of you out there listening and watching, I am going to put in the link description on all the streaming services and YouTube the link to Dave's Instagram and obviously to his website with all his photos. Check some shit out. Give him some love. Love the photographer. Like, we can't have punk rock and music without imagery. You know, they go hand in hand, and we need people like Dave out there who's just giving it his all. And he's not charging us for it. He should be charging us for it, but he's not. So let's show him the love he deserves. Okay.
Mhm.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you guys. Love you all.
I keep my fist raised up, full time against the world, sometimes for the family.